All right. We are live chatting about the weather for tonight and for the next several days. If you have any questions, feel free to comment down below. We'll be talking about San Antonio's weather. You know, we saw some pretty good rain earlier today. It was kind of a splash and dash, quick downpour, quick rumble of thunder, shower and storm. Nothing severe, thankfully, but good. Much needed rain did fall in San Antonio earlier today, and now it's dry. I mean, just got finished with my dinner break, and it was quiet. I mean, the sun started to come out. Sunset's right now, so things are getting darker. The sky is getting darker, and tonight it's going to be very muggy. That's probably the big takeaway. You know, this evening, very humid, very muggy, very tropical. And as we progress through this evening, you know, we're not going to see much change. You know, we had that severe threat, but now it's really dwindled down. And in terms of more rain in the forecast for tonight specifically, we're not looking ahead for that. We're looking more at dry conditions until tomorrow morning when rain does move back in. All right, so mostly cloudy out there right now. Let's make sure this update's right here. Just give it a second. And there we go. Perfect. So yeah, again, the sky kind of cleared. You know, in the last hour or two, there's still a good amount of clouds out there, but the sun's trying to peek through, and we're looking at a nice night. Still a little warm, still a little humid. And in terms of rain, it's gone as for right now, which we'll talk more about in just a second. Today's number is 88. 84 is normal. And take a look at today's record set back in 1984. That was 99 degrees. So this time of year can get near 100. I mean, when you factor in the humidity today, that 88 felt more like 94 just because of how tropical and how muggy and how much moisture content is in our atmosphere. You know, looking at the numbers from today, that 88, we had heat index numbers up to 95, 96 in some areas down southwest towards Cotulla, Carrizo Springs. Heat indices got climbed upwards to 100 and 103 today. So it was warm and, more importantly, very humid thanks to this very humid pattern in place. And sundown was at 8:14 specifically, and our rain gauge picked up 0.06 inches of rain today alone, which is the first rain wave this month and not the last, because we have more rain in the next 7 days. So we're going to talk about that coming up. Meantime, temperatures 80s across the map. We have a few 70s in Rock Springs, George West, Beeville, Victoria, but most of San Antonio, especially towards Eagle Pass and Carrizo Springs, still upper 80s. That's the air temperature at 8:18 at night. Heat index and or feels like temperature, they're synonymous. 99 is the feels like temperature in Pearsall, 99 is the heat index at Cotulla, 94 at Carrizo Springs. If you look closely, out near Eagle Pass in central and northern Maverick County towards Frio County, there's a pocket of some cooler air, and that's because of a shower, I believe. And tonight's forecast, we're in the marginal risk for severe weather, but it looks like anywhere north of the hill country towards Abilene, I-20, Dallas and Fort Worth, that's where they're expecting more of the numerous waves of severe to strong thunderstorms. Tomorrow, we are included in a marginal, not San Antonio, but the hill country is in a level 1 out of 5 for a few downpours that could go strong to severe tomorrow. Now, speaking of, here is the radar. Very active in Dallas, Fort Worth, or at least west of there. And this is all igniting along a dry line. And what this does, especially with the heating of the day, with this kind of atmosphere, how humid it is, especially north of us, it's a great environment to really kickstart storms. And you can see near Abilene, at least outside of Abilene, and basically between there and Wichita Falls, Graham, that's where they're, under the threat for at least some pretty strong thunderstorms. Most of this is pretty strong, but notice these are yellow polygons that have been issued by the Weather Service. This is outside our viewing area, by the way. This is not going to go anywhere near us, so we're safe on that front, to put your mind at ease. But towards Brownwood, Eastland, I-20, Dallas, Fort Worth, this is a line of storms, a cluster of rain and severe weather that is moving towards Dallas, and a lot of this is producing hail near Stephenville, Eastland, gusty winds 40 to 60 miles an hour. Reflectivity showing some of those pink pockets over the last couple hours. That's indicative of at least pretty large hail in some of these rural pockets between Rochester, Seymour, Weatherford, and again, west of Dallas and Fort Worth. So if you have any friends or family up there this evening, this batch of rain, this batch of strong to severe storms will move towards Dallas probably around 9:30, and that's going to give them a pretty good dose of rain in the next several hours. So heads up for Dallas and Fort Worth and North Texas, and from there to Abilene as well. Let's back up, and we saw a few showers earlier today, but now things have really quieted down. It's on radar. It's cloudy. It's quiet. We saw a storm move through eastern San Antonio and towards Seguin, Stockdale, around the 5 and 6 o'clock hour, but that has now since dissipated. Out west, this is what I want to check on. Now, this is the last 3 hours. We saw a couple storms trying to make their way towards Lake Amistad and Del Rio, Valverde County, but, not surviving the trip. They formed. The storm it built to a pretty large thunderstorm, but it rained itself out very quickly. So in terms of rain in our area, it's pretty quiet. There are a few light sprinkles out near Gonzales, maybe towards Cuero and towards Columbus, but that's getting outside of our viewing area. Meantime, San Antonio and most of the area in the hill country, it is quiet. Tonight's forecast, lower 80s, upper 70s because of cloud cover and that southeast wind. We're going to stay on the warm side. Tomorrow, rain moves back in. Most of it will be light. There will be a couple of pockets of moderate to heavy rain, maybe a rumble of thunder, kind of like earlier today, where the rain wasn't everywhere. It wasn't widespread, but some of it will move into San Antonio, likely around 6 a.m. and linger through at least the lunch hour. On and off scattered showers tomorrow, accounting for about a 30 to 40% chance for rain for Sunday. And then by the afternoon, it should back off. Monday, Tuesday, not impressive, maybe a stray shower. It's better Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, into next weekend when the pattern really starts to shape up and looks more favorable for consistent consecutive days for rain and storms. And here's the setup. Now, we have a ridge out east. Now, if you're traveling to Florida, the southeast, from Alabama to the Carolinas, it's pretty quiet weather. That ridge of high pressure out east towards Florida and Georgia, that's going to keep things hot, right? It's going to keep things quiet, sunny, unseasonably warm for that part of the country. But out west, upstream, is that low. And what that's going to do is channel in and funnel in a lot of moisture in our direction. Most of it cloud cover, but some of it will be scattered on and off showers and storms between, Tuesday and through likely next weekend. It's a similar setup we had last week, but this looks to be more of a consistent, blocking pattern that doesn't break down in a few days. It'll likely be around for at least 4 to 5 to maybe 6 days until early next week. So it's going to be a long-term pattern that'll bring in at least some decent chance for rain. As a matter of fact, forecast rain totals all of next week in San Antonio is on the order of about 2 to 4 inches, which would be definitely much needed. That'll definitely help with the drought. We've seen it really back off and improve. And if we get even more rain this month, that'll certainly do some damage on the drought, especially before we head into summertime. So this is the forecast model we've been looking at. This is Monday night. Likely, Monday afternoon should be quiet. It'll be sunny, hot, highs in the 80s and 90s. But Monday night, here comes a few storms, especially on the bottom of your screen towards San Antonio, Houston, and South Texas. Monday evening, likely going to be watching a few storms erupt out west and then move across our area late Monday night into early Tuesday. Now watch this, in a Wednesday, Thursday, it's not going to be all day rain, but every single day will at least have the chance for showers and storms with more widespread activity possible by the latter half of next week into next weekend. So here's a 7-day. You'll see right here. Let me turn that off and put this on. Let me see if anyone has any questions. Grace thought that we're going to be having some strong storms tonight. Yeah, so Grace, so we had the threat of storms tonight. Let me go back to this right here. So, and it looks like it came together earlier this afternoon, and that rain, that 1 to 2 storms that were not severe, that was pretty much the wave that was moving through San Antonio. Now tonight it's quiet, but there is severe weather out there, just not in our area. It's out north into Dallas, Fort Worth, North Texas, the Red River, and these are pretty strong storms capable of hail, tornadoes, and gusty winds. Again, that's not moving towards us, but in San Antonio's region tonight, we are quiet. The threat we had was earlier today. It was mainly just spotty, scattered storms. We had a rumble of thunder in downtown San Antonio and across the metro, but otherwise, the threat has pretty much cleared for San Antonio, with most of the threat in Texas at this hour is in Dallas and Fort Worth and North Texas. So we did have a threat. It was mainly in the afternoon, and now it has really backed off in terms of severe weather in our area. And that's good news for us. All right. And yeah, no storms overnight for San Antonio. There will be some light rain around tomorrow morning. That's the big takeaway from tomorrow's forecast. You can see tomorrow 90 degrees despite clouds and rain. And let's go through the forecast. So I think I have the high resolution model. I'll have to unlock this. Give me 1 second. You're welcome, Grace. Of course. Here to help. So yeah, let me load this forecast model, and we'll show you kind of what rain we're looking at tomorrow morning. It's mostly going to be damp and light rain tomorrow morning. And you can see on the map, on that graphic, it's 30 to 40% on just a few scattered showers, maybe a rumble of thunder like earlier today. So let this load real quick. Give me 1 second. Sometimes it takes a little longer to load, but what we're going to do is roll through the forecast like this. Perfect. All right, let's do that, and let's put my name up. There we go. So tonight, 10 o'clock, partly cloudy, if not mostly clear, 70s. Because of humidity tonight, guys, we're not going to see much of a cool down. As a matter of fact, tomorrow morning when you wake up at 7, 8 a.m., 73, muggy, humid, tropical, and even some patchy fog. In addition to that, more importantly, light rain will be around from Pleasanton to San Antonio to Bernie to the Hill Country. Non-severe, the Hill Country isn't a marginal risk for severe weather tomorrow. However, you can see on this forecast model, as I put this in 8 a.m., there will be a couple of pockets of heavy rain, maybe some lightning, occasional lightning, a rumble of thunder around the area, but you'll notice it's not everywhere. And you'll fast forward into lunchtime, light rain here and there, on and off, and then into 1 and 2 o'clock, it kind of backs off scattered lingering showers through 2 and 2:30, with an isolated storm certainly possible, just not probable. And then by about 4 and 5 p.m., we're at 90 degrees, mostly cloudy, humid, muggy, you know the name of the game. And then by tomorrow night, it is mostly cloudy with most of the rain forming out to the south near Corpus Christi, Beeville, and George West. So that's the forecast. So tomorrow morning, light rain, on and off showers, mostly light stuff. Again, there is a severe threat for the Hill Country tomorrow. Maybe an isolated storm, level 1 out of 5, a marginal risk for severe weather in the Hill Country tomorrow. But from what I'm seeing on forecast data and the models we're looking at, it just doesn't look likely and optimal for at least widespread, activity. I would just say light rain, an occasional downpour tomorrow morning, an occasional lightning strike, rumble of thunder, but that's about it. We're not looking at anything widespread nor severe, mostly tomorrow morning. And then by tomorrow night, it should quiet down, but 90 degrees tomorrow and 30 to 40% chance on scattered showers. 91 Monday and Tuesday, similar, partly cloudy. There'll be some overnight storms, as you saw in that last forecast model. Likely Monday evening after 6, 7, 8 p.m., there will be a few storms that move and form out west and then move through San Antonio late Monday night into early Tuesday. And likely the theme for Tuesday night, Wednesday night, and even into early parts of next week, it'll be mostly cloudy, 86 on Wednesday, 87 on Thursday, with just daily consecutive chances for rain and even storms in the forecast. So we'll just have to see how things shape up. It looks like it'll be a pretty unsettled and active weather pattern, but that's kind of how things are playing right now as we move into the middle part of May. In the next 7 days, you can see it's 80s and 90s, a lot of heat, a lot of warmth, a lot of humidity, and a lot of rain. Remember, May is the wettest month of the year for San Antonio and for most areas across the South. It's springtime. It's the last full month of spring. Next month begins summer on June 21st. That's when summer begins. And typically in San Antonio, we don't see much in regarding rainfall. We can, but typically it gets really dry and really hot, especially if you're from here. You know what I'm talking about. But middle 80s and clouds and daily chances for rain and storms. So keep your umbrellas out. Always check your radar every evening, because while most afternoons will be quiet, most mornings will have at least light rain around, some patchy fog, and each evening will at least produce a few storms, isolated to scattered in coverage across the area. So just stay tuned and stay weather aware. We'll have updates all week long on this active weather pattern. For now, we'll keep it on the 7-day forecast for a couple more minutes, but for right now, be safe and have a wonderful Saturday night.